Coming up on Confidential, Ric Flair recounts a tragic tale.
First thing I remember was the ambulance technician. He said to the guy helping him to hurry because he thought we might lose this one. I thought he was talking about me.
And the great one brings it to the back lot.
Oh yeah, wait a second, he cut me.
When I sliced this cat, I mean, you heard, and then you hear him go, ow!
Hi everyone, I'm Gene Okerlund, and this is WWE Confidential. At SummerSlam earlier this year, The Rock and Brock Lesnar tangled in an epic confrontation that turned out to be a contender for Match of the Year. It launched Brock Lesnar towards superstardom, but where in the world has The Rock been? And is he ever going to set foot in a WWE ring again? We'll have the answer to both of those questions a little bit later on. But first up tonight, a day that changed the course of professional wrestling history. Saturday, October the 4th, 1975. It was just your typical fall day in North Carolina. A small passenger plane left Charlotte en route to the coastal town of Wilmington. Jim Crockett's Mid-Atlantic promotion was putting on a show later that evening at Legion Stadium. The then reigning world heavyweight champion Johnny Valentine was on board, along with veterans David Crockett, Tim Woods, Bob Bruggers, and a 24-year-old up-and-comer named Ric Flair. The Cessna 310 aircraft and its 6 passengers were just 3 miles from touching down. By all accounts, it was going to be another uneventful flight in the hundreds they take every year. But then something went terribly wrong. A catastrophic miscalculation proved to be a fatal mistake for the pilot. It also ended the careers of 2 wrestlers and left the future of legend Ric Flair in serious doubt.
There was really nothing out of the ordinary that day. There were no stiff winds. It was really a beautiful fall afternoon.
We decided to fly that day because we had determined earlier in the week that it was going to be a long week. We worked twice that Saturday. It was a Sunday evening show, 200 miles to Wilmington, you know, a 2-lane highway, long trip. So why not fly? We were being innovative at that point in our careers.
I was always ringside at Wilmington every chance they were there like every month. And so, I'd go out and see all the matches from about 1975 to probably 82. The card on October 5th, 75, it was a brand new feud heating up in the Mid-Atlantic area. Tim Woods, Mr. Wrestling, had just come into the area to avenge a broken leg at the hands of Johnny Valentine. And then there was another feud just starting out. There was a young upstart, braggadocious kid by the name of Ric Flair, who was my favorite wrestler, was fighting the local hero, Wahoo McDaniels. So it was a really, really big card, probably the biggest one I had seen to that point, and I was really excited about it.
It was like a 6-person plane. I went in the back. Bob Bruggers was next to me on my right. In front of me was Mr. Wrestling Tim Woods. To my right and up one was Ric Flair. And then in the co-pilot seat was Johnny Valentine, and then the pilot.
Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until we were about halfway there. And I can remember looking at Valentine, tapping him on the shoulder, and pointing to the gas gauges, which were almost on empty. And we were joking, realizing the plane had, reserve tanks, which had flown on before.
When we realized that there was trouble with the flight was somewhere around, I want to say, Lumberton, North Carolina, which is about halfway in between Charlotte and Wilmington. The engine on the right-hand side started to sputter, and he basically cut it off.
I noticed there was trouble when the right engine stopped. It didn't go poof, poof, it pinned.
The announcer came out and made an announcement. We had heard rumors going through the crowd just a few minutes before.
As the plane was going down, I can't remember anybody saying anything. I think that's just been blocked out of my memory, but I'm sure we were all, mortified, horrified.
you know something's wrong. You're guessing. You know, really, you're starting to say little quiet prayers. You know, the other engine is going. You're racing. Well, why don't we land? And at that time, my son was only 3 weeks old. So I'm sitting there trying to control my breathing, so like Lamaze, and hoping that, you know, that I don't get the wind knocked out of me.
I can't describe the impact because I really don't remember. I know we were stuck in the ground. We pinned in a railroad embankment that the tracks were on, about a mile from the runway. The speedometer said 225 miles an hour. And we'd gone through trees, so we were probably, you know, traveling in excess of 300 miles an hour. Because, as you know, usually at trees will cartwheel a small plane. We went right through them.
When the announcer hit the ring to tell everybody that there was actually a plane crash, and I think the whole place went into shock. It was almost dead silence at that point.
I do not remember anything about the impact. The only thing before that I remember was there was a buzzer and a light going off. Later on, I found out that was a stall warning, that the plane had stalled.
To the best of my recollection, the first thing I remember was the ambulance technicians or medics putting us in the same ambulance. One of us, two of us, three of us, whatever. There had to be more than one of us because he said to the guy helping him that to hurry because he thought we might lose this one. I thought he was talking about me, you know, and he was talking about Bob Bruggers. So I knew that there was someone else alive, but that's the closest thing I have to any recollection of the crash is being loaded in the ambulance.
You know, I knew it was a significant moment in wrestling at that point. I really did. I was 11 years old, but I knew something major had happened.
And I had head injuries. I had a broken ankle. I had a dislocated shoulder, a lot of facial lacerations. Everyone else in the plane had back injuries.
I broke my back in 3 places.
Bob Bruggers, to my right, broke his back. Also, Johnny Valentine's back was broken.
The pilot, Michael Farkas, died a year after the plane crash but never regained consciousness. He was in a coma when I left the hospital, and I went to see him probably twice over the course of that next year, and he eventually died. He never regained consciousness.
Tim Woods, he had some back injuries, but what I understand, he left the hospital the next day.
As a fan, and I've always been a fan, but I think it brought it closer to home. It brought these characters that we saw on TV, they turned into real life people that were in my community and in my hospital and had dealt with people that I knew, and we talked about it amongst ourselves in the community and in the school. And so it made these people more real, and it endeared us to them more. And to see Ric Flair come back from that and do what he's done in his career, and to think that I was there when, you know, it almost all ended for him, it made it more personal to me.
I wish I could tell you that it humbled me, and it has when I sit here and talk about it. But back then I was so hot to get back into business and so eager to be a star and, you know, be whatever I could be, that I think, you know, and this isn't, you know, this is my take on it now, I think I probably turned the negative into a positive.
Ladies and gentlemen, one moment. Take a look at it, learn to love it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be yours for a long, long time. Woo! Woo!
Just, you know, started living the life of the nature boy. Didn't look back. I took my insurance settlement and bought my first new Cadillac. That sums it up right there.
I was scared to death the first time I was on a plane after that. Tears in my eyes, white-knuckled. The flight attendant came by and said, "Sir, you look sick. Can I help you?" I said, "I don't want to be here, but I have to." You know, and today, this business, you're flying everywhere.
I think about the plane crash when I travel overseas, when there's a lot of turbulence. But otherwise, I don't dwell on it at all. I don't even think about it unless somebody brings it up to me, really. But then people will say to me, we don't have to worry about the plane, crashing when Flair's on it. It doesn't happen twice and stuff like that, so that's reassuring for me and them, I guess.
Up next, The Rock returns to Hollywood.
That's Rock. I think that's Rock kicking ass. Right there, he just killed a guy, killed another guy, killed another guy, killed another guy.
There's never been a superstar that transcends sports entertainment to the extent of The Rock. He's not only one of the most popular superstars in WWE history, but he's also been one of the most sought-after celebrities for talk shows, magazines, and special events over the last few years. Not surprisingly, Hollywood producers think the People's Champion is their next big action hero. With the success of The Scorpion King earlier this year, The Rock is being touted as the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's left a lot of folks speculating on whether The Rock will choose Hollywood over the WWE. The Rock and Brock Lesnar tore the house down in their epic confrontation at SummerSlam. But since then, The Rock has taken time out to star in another big action picture for Universal. With the budget over $100 million, it promises to be another blockbuster. As of yet, The Rock's new movie doesn't have a title. But then to think of it, neither does The Rock.
I play a character by the name of Beck. Very dark, complex character who's had a really dark past. My character is a bounty hunter ready to get out of the business, is sent down to El Dorado for one last job to get Sean William Scott. I'm after Sean William Scott. Sean William Scott is after a priceless artifact called the Gato.
I played a guy named Travis Walker. He was kind of like an archaeologist. And while he was traveling the world in search of all these different artifacts, he never really found anything. And then he's heard about this thing called the Gato do Diabo in the Amazon.
Rosario Dawson, her character is Mariana. She wants the Gato because she knows that by getting the Gato, she can basically take her people, or the people of this little town, out of slavery.
Okay, let's do one more.
Have a bigger fire.
Well, the fire should be bigger.
This movie is a cross between Indiana Jones, Midnight Run, and Desperado.
This is your time.
Rock is definitely going to blow people away in this movie. Hold on. That's Rock. I think that's Rock kicking ass. Right there, he just killed a guy, killed another guy, killed another guy, killed another guy. We get along really well. I think it's the best chemistry I've had in the movie. What's up, man? Yeah. You were just like, I heard that.
The wound?
Oh, yeah. Wait a second. He cut me. We're supposed to have prop knives, like, because they're not supposed to be sharp so we don't get hurt.
It's just sharp as a razor.
Yeah, he barely, like, touched me.
When I sliced this cat, I mean, you heard, and then you hear him go, ow. And I was
And
like,
you did the same thing. You were so cool. You walked over like, sliced him. It was fun, man. It was like a bonding experience.
Sean is a cross between Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle.
And Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Where do you get Jimmy Superfly Snuka?
How about
And Mae Young.
Where's my dogs at? You son of a...
Let's move on, okay?
New deal, guys. New deal.
Excellent. New deal. Moving on.
The intensity of Beck, as opposed to my intensity in the ring. The drive, the motivation, the focus. I mean, all those things, all those characteristics and all those elements are in Beck, are in me as well. On my arm, there's a tattoo. It says, "Do not go gentle," and it's a Dylan Thomas poem. And when he decides not to go gentle, it's on. And that is the character's mantra. Just like as The Rock is, just bring it. Well, Beck is, do not go gentle.
With this movie, he's gonna be massive because, you know, everybody knew he could do action better than anybody, and everybody knew that he's so personable and charismatic. And they know that he's, you know, a great actor, but the stuff that he does in this movie is unbelievable. I think he's gonna be the biggest of the biggest.
I'm the same cat I was. I still sign every single autograph I can, and I do. Money and fame don't change me. They change all the people around me. A lot of people put money on that I wouldn't come back at all after The Scorpion King came out, and I still came back, did my thing.
What? Oh my God! I don't believe it! The Rock has come home!
I love wrestling, and I love the physicality of wrestling. I love the showmanship of wrestling, and I love the interaction with the fans.
I've got WWE in my blood. The Rock was born WWE. 50 years from now, when The Rock is 80 years old, when The Rock has to put in the people's dentures, he's got to use the people's walker to come walking down that ramp, just like that. The Rock will still step right in the middle of this ring and say, just ring it.
Our fans are, not only are they passionate, but they're savvy enough to know that where I go, he said the WWE goes with me. And that'll always be, that'll never ever change.
Yes, sir, man! What The Rock is cooking!
I'm always thinking about things, always thinking about different ways to entertain. I always got to be creative. I always got to be innovative. I always got to be cutting edge. I always got to raise the bar. And I hear some of these candy-ass imposter jabronis they're coming up with their little catchphrases, and I think it's cute. Cute. Cute doesn't make millions of dollars. I got some things going on in my head. We'll see when I come back. I can't tell you. You're one of them candy-ass jabroni imposters.
As far as The Rock is concerned, this is home.
Still to come, a backstage tour of Fozzy's latest music video.
Did you find out which girls I'm going to be dancing with?
Yeah, I've got them all up at the bar. Cool. Waiting for you.
WWE superstars are gifted athletes and talented performers. It's only natural that their competitive nature would inspire them to achieve greatness beyond the ring. The Rock is making movies. Bradshaw is writing investment books. Tori Wilson and Trish Stratus are both accomplished fitness models. And of course, Chris Jericho is a huge rock star, at least according to him. Recently, Y2J's band, Fozzy, released their second album on Megaforce Records entitled Happenstance. With the King of the World as their frontman, the video for Fozzy's latest single has got to be buzzworthy.
We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, doing a video for With the Fire for Fozzy's second record.
The first album was great, but this album, destroys it. We really believe in this record.
Now we all pitch in.
Let's just get started.
The idea that Fozzy guys came up with this, they're coming back from some other gig, when Goose is asleep in the limousine. A hip-hop CD gets put on the limousine, and the song happens to invade his dream. That Fozzy somehow is in a hip-hop club. They're doing their headbanging thing, and of course the hip-hoppers are doing their thing, and everybody starts really being into a groove. First shot we're setting up is the band coming into the club.
The more chicks throughout the video, the better. And we have a lot of chicks here. I want to use them as much as possible.
Action!
when we need it.
It's a collaboration between all 6 of us, but Rich and myself put it together, and it's kind of been our brainchild, and we've been the inventors of it and the believers in it.
Chris is a very creative person. His brain is always running.
I am a Renaissance man. I'm very talented at anything I do, whether it be wrestling, music, acting, directing, editing, the whole process.
Cut. There we go. Shake that one. Come on, baby. And the sun was given. One of these, okay? Practice. Press play.
Did you find out which girls I'm going to be dancing with?
Yeah, I've got them all up at the bar, waiting for you.
I think the secret to Fozzy is no expectations, no rules. It's not a vehicle for us to make a living. It's not a vehicle for us to be huge rock stars.
It's more fun, a lot less pressure, and it's more of a free-form atmosphere, very creative. Anything goes.
I'm going to get my spoon playing solo.
We also have a very limited budget here with Fozzy, so we got to make sure that everything's really good before we do it.
Down the road, baby. That's film talk, yo.
He asked me to come down and, play a little hip-hop guy, which is not a big stretch for me, because that's my kind of music. So I still got a few moves left. He was real good, I thought, too, with the extras that was standing around, keeping them happy and laughing. Actually going out of his way to be real nice to everybody. It's just a cool side of Chris that you might not see on TV.
Hi, ladies. Hello.
Doing something. I'll buy it. It's been actually even more special for us to see the band go as far as it's gone, and over the last 3 years, we've definitely got a lot of great opportunities. We've played from New York City to Los Angeles in front of 25,000 people in Germany. It's great for everybody so much. It's a lot of fun. It really is fun. That's what it is.
Big news for later tonight, folks. Chris Jericho has granted Confidential exclusive rights to air a sneak preview of Fozzy's new music video, With the Fire, right here tonight, even before the big world premiere. You're not going to want to miss this one a little bit later on. Since he was a little boy, Billy Kidman dreamed of becoming a WWE superstar. As a youngster, Billy practiced his acrobatic style on backyard diving boards to the delight of friends and neighbors looking on from the comfort of their lawn chairs. He's come a long way since then. Now the current WWE Cruiserweight Champion is thrilling audiences and turning heads of fellow superstars with his determination and an incredible maneuver worthy of a shooting star.
My finishing move is called the Shooting Star Press.
Kidman, Shooting Star Press connects!
The name comes from basically when you see a shooting star in the sky, it's not something you see very often. This is a move in wrestling is where you don't see very often. The move itself, I used to do off of a diving board long before I got into wrestling, into the pool. At that time, I'd never seen it, and I thought it would be a great move to do. When I started wrestling and I started training, I would stand on the top turnbuckle and I would look into the ring, and I just thought, it's impossible because you have to face forward and flip backwards. Your feet are going to slip or something's going to happen. So I just tuned it out in my head. And then I was watching a tape from Japan, and I saw Jushin Thunder Liger on there, and I saw him do it. And I said, well, it's possible, so now I have to try it. First time I tried it was at the Wild Samoan Training Center where I trained in Pennsylvania. So I was just standing on the turnbuckle, and I must have climbed up and down the turnbuckle 50 times because the longer you stand up there, you just know you're not going to do it. Finally, I just said, all right, I'm doing it. And in my head, when I saw Liger do it, he would tuck his knees to his chest. So that's what I pictured myself doing. But when I went up there and did it, I just ended up just totally laid out, and that's kind of the way I do it now. First time I used the move on TV was in WCW. I got up to the top and I did my flip and came right back down on the top rope. My legs hit the rope where my feet were, and it rocketed me straight into the mat. I just pray every time I do it because it's not a move that's easy to control. Probably my favorite memory of using the shooting star was in a three-way match against Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrero.
Suicide move, gentlemen. That was a shooting star press from the top.
When I do the move into the ring, it's so quick, I don't really feel anything. Sometimes it feels like I'm flying if I do the move from the top rope to the floor. The shooting star press is something that they don't see very often. When I have the guy down and I start to drag him over to the corner, the people know what's coming. And you can just hear. I don't hear much during the match, but when I go for the shooting star press, I can just hear the people and feel the energy. And that's pretty much what drives me to do it because it's such a tough move to do. It basically is the career risker. So the people really get me through it because they go crazy when I do it.
Stay tuned for the premiere of Fozzy's latest video. Lugs presents WWE Armageddon, live tomorrow night on pay-per-view from the Office Depot Center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hit the streets Lug style. Get the shoes with an attitude at lugs.com. And the official theme song for Armageddon is The End, available now on WWE Anthology.
Next week, we'll have more from The Rock on the set of his new movie, plus a very revealing look at one of the legendary Four Horsemen, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. But before we go, we leave you with this special sneak preview of Chris Jericho and Fozzy and their new music video entitled With the Fire. As always, I remind you, if you see and hear it here, it's confidential.